In the United States, over 1 in 3 adults currently have prediabetes, and the scariest part, more than 80% of them have absolutely no idea. We often think of blood sugar problems as something that happens suddenly, but the truth is, your body starts changing long before it reaches diabetic levels. Prediabetes is often called a silent condition, but silent doesn't mean symptom-free. Your body often leaves subtle clues long before blood sugar officially crosses into the diabetic range. The problem is, in the early stages of metabolic dysfunction, we feel fine, so we ignore small changes until bigger problems appear. In today's video, I'm sharing 7 research-based warning signs that may be linked to insulin resistance, rising blood sugar, and underlying metabolic strain. If you notice several of these patterns in yourself, it might be time to stop guessing and start testing. Before we talk about the symptoms, let's quickly understand what prediabetes actually means. Prediabetes is when your blood sugar is higher than normal, but not high enough to be diagnosed as type 2 diabetes yet. You're not officially diabetic, but you're at increased risk because you're in the stage right before it. Why is that dangerous? Because your body's no longer operating in the optimal range, and if this condition is left unmanaged, prediabetes can progress to type 2 diabetes over time. Unfortunately, many people either don't take prediabetes seriously or don't realize they have it at all. That's why millions pass through this stage silently, only discovering the issue when diabetes is diagnosed, sometimes years later. Prediabetes begins with something called insulin resistance. Insulin is a hormone that acts like a key. After you eat, it helps move sugar from your bloodstream into your cells, where it's used for energy. But over time, often due to excess visceral fat, physical inactivity, poor diet, chronic stress, or genetics, your cells stop responding efficiently to insulin. This is insulin resistance. At first, your pancreas compensates by producing more insulin. Blood sugar may stay in the normal range, but insulin levels remain chronically elevated, meaning the system is working harder than it should. Over time, the insulin-producing beta cells begin to lose their ability to fully keep up with demand. This doesn't happen overnight, but eventually, blood sugar begins rising above normal. When glucose is elevated but not yet high enough to meet the criteria for type 2 diabetes, that stage is called prediabetes. At this point, insulin resistance is present and beta cell function is starting to decline. The metabolic system is under strain, but importantly, at this stage, the process is often still reversible. Sign number 1, an expanding waistline. One of the strongest early indicators isn't something you feel, it's something you see. An expanding waistline, particularly increased fat around the abdomen, is closely linked to insulin resistance. This isn't just about overall weight, it's about visceral fat, the fat stored deep inside the abdominal cavity around your organs. Visceral fat is metabolically active. It releases inflammatory chemicals and fatty acids that interfere with insulin signaling. Large population studies consistently show that risk increases when waist circumference exceeds about 40 inches in men and 35 inches in women, although these cutoffs can vary slightly depending on ethnicity. If your waistline has been steadily increasing, especially alongside other changes, it may be your metabolism signaling that insulin resistance is developing. Sign number 2, dark velvety patches of skin. A condition called Acanthosis Nigricans is strongly associated with insulin resistance. It appears as darkened, thickened, velvety patches of skin, most commonly on the back of the neck, under the arms, groin area, or knuckles. Chronically elevated insulin levels stimulate growth receptors in skin cells. Insulin doesn't only regulate glucose, it also acts as a growth factor. When levels remain high for long periods, it triggers increased skin cell production and melanin deposition. This is not dirt, it does not wash off, and while it does not confirm prediabetes by itself, it is strongly associated with significant insulin resistance. Sign number 3, multiple skin tags. Skin tags are small, soft, flesh-colored growths that commonly appear on the neck, armpits, eyelids, groin, or under the breasts. A single skin tag is common and harmless, but multiple skin tags appearing over a short period of time have been linked in multiple metabolic studies to insulin resistance. The proposed mechanism is similar. Elevated insulin levels stimulate growth pathways in skin tissue. Skin tags alone are not diagnostic, but when they appear alongside abdominal obesity or darkened skin patches, the pattern becomes more suggestive of underlying metabolic dysfunction. And the next one is surprisingly common, and most people blame it on stress. Sign number 4, extreme fatigue after meals. Feeling relaxed after eating is normal. Feeling completely drained, foggy, or unable to focus is different. When insulin resistance is present, blood sugar may rise higher than normal after carbohydrate-heavy meals. The pancreas responds by releasing a large amount of insulin to bring levels down. This spike and drop pattern can lead to a crash that feels like sudden exhaustion. In addition, glucose may not enter cells efficiently. Even though blood sugar is elevated, your cells may struggle to access energy, contributing to fatigue. If you consistently feel sleepy within 30 to 90 minutes after eating, mentally foggy or low energy despite adequate sleep, it may signal unstable glucose regulation. Occasional fatigue is normal. Frequent, predictable crashes are worth paying attention to. Sign number 6, shakiness, anxiety, or intense sugar cravings. In some people with insulin resistance, this pattern can resemble reactive hypoglycemia. A few hours after eating, you might experience shakiness, sweating, irritability, anxiety, or intense sugar cravings. When blood sugar rapidly drops after a spike, the body releases stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones create urgency, pushing you to seek quick energy. While reactive hypoglycemia does not automatically mean prediabetes, frequent blood sugar swings may indicate underlying insulin resistance. If this happens regularly, especially after refined carbohydrates, your glucose regulation system may be struggling. Sign number 6, increased thirst or frequent urination. As blood sugar rises towards diabetic levels, the kidneys begin filtering excess glucose from the bloodstream. When glucose spills into urine, it pulls water with it, a process called osmotic diuresis. This can lead to increased urination and increased thirst. These are classic signs of hyperglycemia and are more common in established diabetes. However, they may begin appearing in later stage prediabetes when glucose levels are persistently elevated. If you're waking frequently at night to urinate or feeling unusually thirsty without explanation, it's worth noting. Sign number 7, fluctuating blurry vision. This is one that often sends people to the eye doctor for a new prescription, only to discover the issue is actually blood sugar. You may notice your vision fluctuates. Some days it's clear, other times it's difficult to focus. When blood sugar spikes, excess glucose pulls fluid into the lens of the eye, causing the lens to swell and temporarily change shape, distorting focus. When blood sugar drops again, the fluid shifts. Fluctuating vision can be an overlooked sign that glucose levels are swinging too widely. So to recap, the 7 silent warning signs include abdominal fat gain, dark neck patches, multiple skin tags, post-meal crashes, sugar cravings or shakiness, increased thirst or urination, and fluctuating blurry vision. Noticing 1 or 2 does not mean you have prediabetes, but recognizing patterns matters. The most empowering step you can take is to speak with your doctor and request 2 simple blood tests, an HbA1c test, which reflects your average blood sugar over the past 3 months, and a fasting blood glucose test. These tests are quick, affordable, and give you clarity. If you have a family history of diabetes, are over 40, or have never had your blood sugar tested, it's reasonable to get checked at least once. And if your results fall into the pre-diabetes range, there's no need to panic. Large prevention trials have shown that losing just 5 to 7% of body weight, especially reducing visceral fat, can dramatically improve insulin sensitivity. Building muscle through resistance training gives glucose somewhere to go. Even simple habits like taking a brisk 10-minute walk after meals or replacing refined carbohydrates with whole foods and protein can significantly stabilize blood sugar swings and reduce metabolic strain. The human body has incredible capacity to heal, especially when intervention happens early. The earlier you recognize these silent signs, the easier it is to reverse insulin resistance and protect your long-term health. If you found this helpful, consider liking the video and subscribing for more science-based health content.